I got this story and I don't know what to do with it now. I'm done writing it.
Hey, what are you guys working on?
Nothing, I was just telling him I got this new story, but I don't know what to do with it now. I'm done writing it.
Really? The other day I wrote my own book and I actually got it published thanks
Really?
to this new ASD grant.
That sounds
So cool.
I know, it looks great, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's keep watching and learn more.
Because Education Day starts now!
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Paige Klingensmith.
And I'm Jenna Walsinovich of Ford City High School in the Armstrong School District.
Tonight we are going to continue with our new segment here at Education Today. We've mentioned how budgets are becoming tighter and tighter and that faculty and staff alike need to continue to be creative in ways to stretch the dollar. We've already discussed a few grants that were awarded last year through the ASD Foundation. Twice a year, the ASD Foundation accepts these grant applications from any faculty or staff member who works in the Armstrong School District. Grants are submitted in May for the fall semester and in December for the winter semester.
Tonight is week 5 of our coverage of the grants that were awarded during the 2011-2012 school year. Tonight, we bring in another innovative teacher to talk with us.
Welcome to Education Today.
Would you please introduce yourself and your current roles in the district?
I'm Bobby Hamill, and currently I am a teacher at Fort City High School. I teach English and TV production.
What is the name of your grant and when was it awarded to you?
The name of the grant is You Want to Publish My Story, and it was awarded in 2012. And it has to do with publishing storybooks.
What kind of grant did you apply for, and what students were impacted by it?
I applied for the ASD Foundation's $500 classroom grant, and last year I was teaching Alderton High School reading students and Katanning Junior High School reading students, and so it impacted about 90 students.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit about the grant that you wrote?
The grant that I wrote has to do with using an online publishing program called Student Treasures. And what it does is it gets students set up in an actual book format where they can take their writings and put them right into the page online, and then they can import pictures, they can scan in their own pictures, or they can use the clip art that's already in the program, and then when they're all finished with it, they get something that kind of looks like this. And it's just a storybook version, hardback, of their creation.
Oh, wow.
Now, how did you come up with this idea? Because I'm sure it took a lot of planning.
Well, actually, since I was a reading teacher, I wanted to do something that had to do with books, and I also wanted to reinforce the writing process along with that. So to put those two together, I wanted to merge them with technology because so many of my students are steeped in technology and they prefer to write on the internet or on the computer. And the idea just kind of came to me as I was looking online at different things they could do for publishing, and I started to look at different programs that were available, and I found one that was pretty affordable. And I asked questions about it, and things just sort of came together.
That's a great idea. Does this grant cover only your classes, or do multiple grades and teachers take advantage of these as well?
Actually, this grant could cover any grade level because you could do anything with the storybook writing, even for more advanced students. Also, I had students reading the Teen Inc. magazine, and I was trying to get them to publish in Teen Inc. because Teen Inc. is a very student-friendly magazine. And I had some students who actually did submit their works and get published online in Teen Inc. Also, it affects everybody in the district because I got the 2012 Writers Market, which is good for all students as far as finding resources for publishing, because I noticed that throughout the district we didn't really have any core texts to help students know where to go for publishing materials. So this book is actually housed in 2 different libraries, one at Katanning, and then the other one was at Elderton, and I think it went to West Shamokin. But it's available for any teacher in the whole district to borrow through interlibrary loan if a teacher is doing something that has to do with publishing works. And any student then can also get it. And it has pretty much every publisher in the nation. Some of them are even worldwide.
Well, that seems pretty interesting. How did the students react to this grant?
I think the students really enjoyed doing it because they got to write their own stories, and then they got a finished product when they were done, and it was something that they could take home and they could show their parents. I think they really enjoyed using the artwork that was available and pulling in their own pictures. I had some students who did biographical kinds of books, and they used pictures from home and they pulled it together into a story. So it was very interactive as well as very student friendly.
Have you noticed a difference in the students' learning as far as picking up on concepts more quickly or things related to that?
Yes, actually, students seem to pick up on things much more easily in the interactive storybook format than they would have if I had just been teaching it in my classroom. And I think that's probably because students are very friendly with technology. They were also using each other as a resource as they were going. They were getting their peers to read and give them feedback on their stories. And so they were learning from their peers in the process as well.
I know you said you were an English teacher and a TVT teacher. What was the grant process writing like? Have you done anything like this before?
Actually, this is the first time that I got an ASD Foundation grant. In the future, I'm hoping to apply for more grants with upper level students. This one was focused on 8th grade and 7th grade, and so I'd like to do something with my senior English classes and TVT class.
What is the biggest benefit to having this grant awarded and instituted into your classes?
I think the biggest benefit is that students actually get a tangible product that they can take with them and keep for the rest of their lives. In many instances, parents ordered several copies for different members of the family, and I think it really created a sense of pride in what they had done.
They get to show how creative they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about grants awarded through the ASD Foundation. Tonight's grant was written by Dr. Bobby Hamill.
Could you give us a little more detail into what exactly the grant accomplished?
Well, the grant actually involved a lot of creativity and the use of the writing process. So students had to plan an idea for their story, and then they had to draft it before they even put it online in the program. And they had to go through several revisions before they even did that. Once they actually got it into the program, then they had to figure out how to visually place things, how to put the text in there, as well as how to edit their own work and how to receive feedback that I gave them as well as feedback that their peers gave them. And they were aiming for a polished product, something that had actually been seen through the whole writing process and could be published. So it kind of raised the stakes a little bit. it's a little bit different from just writing a regular paper in class. You hand it in and you get some feedback, and that's pretty much usually the end of it. But with this one, you were getting something that was hardbound in a book with your name on it, and so there's a little bit more invested in it, I think, because of that. So it took them all the way through the writing process, and then also gave them avenues for publishing their works when they were finished.
This will definitely help them in the long run with everything and using technology.
I hope so.
What important educational elements or aspects does the grant cover?
Well, I think it covers how to use print, how to use the writing process, how to acknowledge audience, the ways that print and visuals work together. And those are all fundamental reading concepts, and since I was teaching a reading course at the time, that all came into play.
Now, this doesn't sound that easy to do. What were some of the challenges that you faced with this grant?
The biggest challenge was probably getting enough computers for my students to use for a 2 to 3 week period consistently. And also, we had some website problems. Every now and then, things would not be working, and so we would have to try to get through that as well. So the big thing was the technology.
What are your future plans moving forward? Although you're teaching at a different grade level, do you intend to apply for grants appropriate for high school students now?
Yes, I definitely would like to do something similar to this to extend it, since I already have some of the resources like the Writer's Market. I'd like to do something that's a little more advanced. The storybook writing actually is not an easy thing to do, especially if you are writing for an audience of children. It can actually be the most difficult kind of writing. So I'd like to do something again that's just a little bit more difficult than what I did originally. I'd also like to apply for some grants that have to do with TV production and film studies. Anything that would improve what we already do.
So what are and were your goals for this grant?
Well, my goals were to give students a sense of what it's like to actually be published and to feel good about their writing. I wanted to give them a sense of self-efficacy, and also to give them an understanding that they can actually get their materials published. It is possible. They just have to work rigorously at it and go through the revision process.
How difficult would this project have been to execute had the grant not been received?
Well, the grant still could have been, or the project still could have been executed, but it would have cost parents money. And we were fortunate in that I got the grant and it cost the parents absolutely nothing. It could have been a problem if parents couldn't, for some reason, afford to pay the cost of each book. And then it would have created a problem with some students having access to the program and some students not having access to the program, and so it really would have been difficult to do in that sense.
Now, is there anything else that we may have not have covered related to this grant or the process that you'd like to share?
Well, basically, what I did was a program that was online, and it did cost money, and it did give us an actual hard copy of the student's work. But this can still be done from a parent's perspective. This could be done at home. There are many online publishing programs, and so I would actually urge parents to try to get their children to write online or publish online. Look for these programs that are free. There are a lot out there. And publishing a single book actually, in many cases, can be $10 or less. And so it's really essential to do it. And it's also something that whole families can do. So the whole family can be involved in this process, and then in that case, literacy becomes something that is not just something that's done in school. It's something that's done at home.
Sounds like a great opportunity for kids.
Is there anything else you would like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
I'd just like to say that I'm very fortunate and thankful to have gotten the grant from the ASD Foundation, and I'm thankful that my students were willing to work with it and stick with it, and I think it was a very good opportunity for them to actually get their name into print.
Well, that's our show for today. We'd like to thank our guest, Dr. Bobby Hamill, a teacher here in the Armstrong School District. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of Ford City High School, led by their teacher, Dr. Bobby Hamill. They were our film crew today.
Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Courtney Edwards
And I'm Blake Davis.
of Katanning High School in the Armstrong School District. Cell phones have become a huge part of everyday life, especially for students. With the increased usage of cell phones comes an increase in the number of potential consequences. Tonight, we are going to discuss the students' perspective on cell phone usage and their use while in school. With us tonight, we have two of our AHS-TV production students. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell us what year you are in?
I'm Lucian Holian, and I'm a junior at Katanning Senior High School.
I'm Kiara Ebig, and I'm a senior at Katanning High School.
Thanks. I just have some questions for you. How long have you had a cell phone?
I got my first cell phone back in 8th grade.
I got my first cell phone back in 7th grade.
Do you currently own a smartphone?
Nope,
Yes, I do.
I do not.
All right. Do you use your phone in school?
I try not to, but if my mom texts me and I have to pick something up, I will. Take it out, send her a quick message back.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I do use it from time to time. Not when this teacher is trying to explain something to me, but when, there's nothing really to do and I'm not paying attention really, yeah, I will use my smartphone.
All right. I think we all can say that we've done that.
Yeah.
Do you use your phone to help you in class sometimes? If you do, give me a few examples.
I've used my phone to help me in class sometimes. If, I get a question from my dad about something we're doing in Power Tech, but that's probably the only time. That was a one-time thing.
Yeah, I don't really use my phone in class for school purposes.
You never use it for like a calculator or anything?
No, I do. I use it for a calculator, but that's about it. I never really looked up anything for a test.
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them just because of the prices?
I think that if we are allowed to have cell phones in school, I don't think it would be quite fair because I'd give a higher advantage to kids that have smartphones compared to kids that don't. Kids without the cell phones would have to do more work and have to use more school resources than the kids with the smartphones. So I think it would be unfair.
It's true.
Would you please repeat the question?
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them in school just because of the price if we were allowed to use them in school?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have much to talk about on that topic.
All right. Do you think that the use of smartphones could help you improve your grades if you were able to find different resources and like apps on your phone?
If I had a smartphone and I was able to look up questions and I was allowed to use it, I would. But I don't think it'd be fair to the other kids, but I'd still do it just to help myself.
I agree. I would do that too. But I do have a smartphone, but at the same time I don't do that, so.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about cell phone usage in schools from the student's perspective. What are some reasons why students should not be allowed to have smartphones in school?
It would be a distraction. When the teacher's teaching, they'd take them out, be looking, playing games, surfing the web, instead of paying attention to what the teacher's saying.
I agree, and I feel that it's rude. The teacher's there to teach you and you're there to listen, and if you're playing with your smartphone, then how are you supposed to listen and give your full attention?
Do you think that the use of cell phones in school would help or hinder students?
They could help students. In school, they'll be able to look at questions, look them up if they're doing a book report and they don't have access to the computer at the time. They could look up information to help them.
I agree with that, but at the same time, what about the people who don't have smartphones and they don't have a computer at the time? Then what are they supposed to do?
Do you feel that more students abuse smartphones rather than help with their learning?
I can see it both ways. I have seen students using their cell phones a lot to help them in school, but at the same time, I can see students messing around on them.
I think that students mess around on their phones more than using them to help them in school. Like, would you rather go on Twitter or would you rather use a calculator?
If cell phones were no longer banned, do you think that students will still abuse their phones?
I believe that if cell phones were no longer banned, I believe there'd be more abuse of cell phones. There'd be no risk of losing your cell phone and getting it taken away. So there'd be more opportunities for you to abuse.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're not allowed to, but at the same time, if you're not allowed to do something, then you're going to do it. But if you are allowed to do something, then it's not going to be something to not do, so you won't do it.
In order to keep up with today's society, do you think more school districts should allow the use of smartphones for educational purposes?
I think that in some classes, the use of cell phones would help, like physics or chemistry or some of the higher classes. They're faster than the computers we have in school.
I agree with that. And there also is a lot of sites on the computers at school that you can't go on that have more information. And on your smartphone, you can go on any site you want.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Kiara and Lucian, for taking the time to talk us about the usage of cell phones in school. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of Katanning High School, led by their teacher, Mr. Dawn Swanson. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.